It's MC Monty in the place to be. Welcome to the adventures of MC Monty. This month's theme, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink Ranger. Yeah. Alright, it's time to wrap up the Pink Ranger series. In this video, I'll be making the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink Ranger helmet out of EVA foam. For this build, you'll need EVA foam. I used 6mm EVA foam. You'll need a silver mask from a costume shop so you can cut it out and use it as a mouthpiece. And you'll need a visor. I made this visor from a plastic face shield and tinted window supplies from a Home Depot store. And of course, some pink paint. Before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe. Remember, everything you need for this build is listed in the description below. So gather your supplies and let's get to it. Yeah. You will need 6mm EVA foam, 2mm EVA foam, and a silver mask like this. Print out your patterns, tape them together, and cut them out. Y'all know how this goes. I'm leaving the margins on the paper, and I'm taping it together just like it is. This will solve any print issues that people may have with the printer not printing through the margins. Put your pages in order. They're numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 and 6 do not need to be taped together. Next, I'm finishing the lines, connecting the lines through the margins where the areas where the printer doesn't print or can't print. And then I'm cutting out the patterns. When you're done, it will look like this. Trace your patterns onto EVA foam. I'm starting with my back, tracing my back onto 6mm EVA foam. Be sure to follow the print instructions that come with the patterns if you are buying my pattern. After I trace the back and the front as well as the lip and chin pieces, I'm going to cut them out. I'm using my X-Acto knife to cut out my back piece. I made sure my X-Acto knife was sharp and ready to go so I get clean cuts. Look how clean that cut is. Yeah. Repeat this step for all your pieces. Make sure your cuts are really clean so your gluing process will be smooth later. Cut out 2 front pieces like so. Be sure to mirror them. I'm prepping my EVA foam with the heat gun. I'm going over the whole piece with the heat gun to get it ready for glue. And then I'm using contact cement. I'm putting contact cement on all the areas I need to glue together, starting with the front piece. And when the contact cement is tacky, I'm just pressing all my seams together and gluing everything into place. I start by completing the front pieces, and then once I do both sides, I'm going to glue the front pieces together at the center. Take your time, make sure your seam is lined up well, and press your pieces together at the center. Now you see the shape of the front of the helmet is starting to take place. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back piece, gluing all my seams together. And then I'm using the heat gun to shape it, warm it up, and then heat it up, shape it, and make sure it's going to stay in place. I need it to stay in that nice round dome shape. Next, I'm gluing in the chin piece to the front of the helmet. And then I'm going to heat up the front of the helmet and use my stress ball to get out any dents and make sure the front stays curved and I get a nice dome shape in the front. And when I'm done with that, it looks like this. Next, I'm going to cut out my top detail piece. This creates the horn on the top of the pterodactyl head, or the front of the pterodactyl head. This piece needs to be cut at an inside bevel, like so. Make sure you cut that on the inside bevel. And those pieces on the outside, left and right, are regular cuts. You can also cut the left and right pieces on the bevel in order to make this angle more extreme if you like. But I did only the centerpiece as a bevel and it worked out. Put those two pieces together with the centerpiece and it looks like this. Now you have your horn. I had a little extra so I cut it off. Now you have your horn piece that goes on the front of the helmet. And I'm using contact cement and carefully making sure the pieces lined up in the center. Do a better job because mine was slightly off, but line it up in the center and then press it down. Next, I'm using my Dremel to smooth it out. If you don't have a Dremel, you can use your heat gun to warm it up and then press it smooth. Next, I'm going to create the visor. I'm using this window film application and this tent privacy kit from the hardware store to make a visor. Using this plastic face shield as my base, I'm going to put the tinted window privacy film on this plastic visor. Cutting off the part that I do not need. Now it's ready to go. Then I'm going to cut enough film for the visor. This roll is huge, so I have plenty to make hundreds of visors in the future. Then you use the spray and spray it on the plastic and then peel the film, the backing off, and then squeegee the film onto the plastic visor. And I'm wiping it with the cloth after it's done. And just like that, your tinted window stuff is on your plastic visor, and now your visor is tinted like the Power Ranger helmet. And I'm just cutting off the excess. Cutting off the excess. How do you say that word? Excess. Excess. Y'all get what I'm saying. All right. Cut your visor to shape. I cut it just a little bit bigger than the pattern because that helps me put it in place inside the helmet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the front of the horn down to the visor using super glue. I'm going to heat it up with the heat gun first and then glue it down into place with the super glue. And when you do that, it will look like this. And the inside of the visor is glued and taped for extra security. Now, I know you see that the mouthpiece is already there because I did this step out of order, but don't be like me. I'm showing you in the video the real order of operations that's gonna work for you so you don't have to struggle. So now after the visor is put into place, put this lip piece into place. Like I said, my video is wrong because I did this out of order, but I'm helping you not make the same mistakes I made. Then after the visor and then after the lip piece is put into place, then you're going to put the mouthpiece into place. Take your mask and cut out the mouthpiece, just the chin and the lips, and then install it into the inside of your mask. Once I got my shape, I used super glue and tape to reinforce. I'm cutting off the little extra at the bottom, and I'm marking where I put the glue. Actually, I didn't use super glue, I used contact cement. Either one works. After I get the placement marked, I add contact cement and I put the mouthpiece in place. And I had to take my time and make sure I got it into place exactly where it needed to be. And I cut a little notch in the chin so that it can all lay flat. And then I put some tape to reinforce it. Next, I'm going to put this piece on the front of the helmet using contact cement, and this is 2mm EVA foam, and it acts as a guide to keep the front and the back piece together. And I cut off the extra, and then I have my guide piece. Now I can glue the top, the front to the back, only the top from this seam to this seam. That's all I glue. So I use contact cement and I press the back to the front only from that side seam to the other side seam, and the rest of the side of the mask stays open so that you can get in and out of the helmet. And now I'm creating a strap with velcro to go on the side. I use contact cement and I put my velcro pieces into place, and then I put the strap into place. And I do this for both sides, and when you're done, your helmet will look like this. All the construction work is now done. Now it's time to clean up some seams. I'm using water along with caulk to clean up my seams. I'm just filling in the gaps and smoothing it out with water and trying to get it as smooth as possible. So I'm going over the whole helmet, any seams, any nicks or imperfections. I'm going to try to smooth it all out. Next, I'm going to use my paint guide to mark where the pink paint goes. So this paint guide is easy because the pink paint follows those seam lines. So I'm just lightly etching where the pink paint will go. And then I'm using the paint guide for the front to mark where the pink paint goes on the front. After I finish marking the paint guide lines, I paint everything pink, and if you need to use white to touch up some of the white areas, do that as well. But for this helmet, since I used white EVA foam, I only used pink paint and painted all the areas pink that needed to be painted pink. Take your time with your brush, and when you're done, your Pink Ranger helmet will look like so.
And there you have it. Your Pink Ranger helmet is complete. Leave me a comment and let me know how you did. If you enjoyed this video tutorial and you enjoyed this series, remember to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment and let me know how your Pink Ranger cosplay turned out. Now I do need to do one more coat of pink paint on this helmet and do a finishing coat so it stays nice and pretty. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this Pink Ranger series. Remember, adventure awaits, so get out into the world
and explore. And I'll see you next time. Peace.